Hi guys, welcome back to my episode. My name is Marcy. I'm your host on Finance Unfiltered Show. Today we have a guest. My guest just landed. She landed literally all the way from Limuru. Karibu Faith.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can introduce yourself and we're gonna know more about you.
Okay,
Yeah.
my name is Faith.
Uh-huh.
I am a digital marketer, so
Okay.
that's my background.
Okay.
I'm also a business owner. I run two businesses.
Wow.
Right now, with entrepreneurship, you never know. Maybe that changes in the future.
Okay.
But yeah, that's who I am.
Wow, two businesses.
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage that?
I'm not managing. I'm tired all the time because I am running these businesses alongside a full-time job.
Okay.
And so both of them are pretty new. And, like in the first year or two of a business, there isn't actually enough for you to live off of.
Okay.
And so having to run two businesses in my spare time
Yeah.
is not the easiest thing, but
Yeah.
I believe it's worth it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do? What are the names? What do you do with those businesses?
So my first business is Treats and More.
Okay.
Treats and More is a food business.
Okay.
More specifically, it's a meal plan business. So
Okay.
it's not a restaurant really. It's a food delivery business that is tailored towards people who are busy, first
Yeah.
of all,
Yeah.
but they also want to eat healthy. So think about Wednesday night when you come from work and
Yeah.
you're so tired.
Yeah.
And you've been in traffic for
Yeah.
like hours and you're tired and you get home and there's nothing in your fridge.
Yeah.
So ours is we make meals for the whole week and then you're good to go for the week. And so
Okay.
that's
Do you
what
have like a
Treats and More.
physical location?
No, we don't have a physical location because it's food delivery.
Okay.
We cook I have a business partner,
Okay.
and we either cook from my place or hers.
Okay.
But because it's a delivery business, we get to be flexible and yeah.
Okay. What of the other business?
My other business is Grounded. I sometimes don't think of it as a business until I do.
Yeah.
So Grounded was a community started by me and my best friend Joanne.
Yeah.
From a place of people are so lonely.
Yeah.
And it's like the more we have social media and the more the world seems to be connected,
Yeah.
the lonelier we get. And
Yeah.
so it was just from a place of people need community. And we feel like we are in a place to gather people so that they can find that community. So that's the heart behind Grounded. Obviously, even if the heart is there, it has to be sustainable.
Yeah.
And that's where the business anchor comes in. And we hold events. We have like question cards that we created to help people connect, but we also sell them. So to make sure that this is something that is sustainable.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's basically what it is.
Okay. I actually found Faith through the Grounded business. It was more of a trip. We went to Nyali. If you remember very well, there was Charles who was here, and that's where we actually met. So, what made you want to start the two businesses? Actually, how long is Grounded so far?
Grounded started end of last year.
Okay.
So it's still pretty new.
Okay.
And Treats and More started in May of this year. So
Wow.
even newer.
Wow.
Yeah, so very fresh.
So how do you manage? You have like two businesses and you have like a full-time employment. How do you do it?
I'll be honest, it's not easy.
Okay.
But from being around a lot of entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
I knew when you start a business, you can't live off of the business immediately.
Yeah.
And so I was mentally prepared that even though I'm building these businesses, I would have to find a way to pay the bills. And so, I am up for the challenge. I was up for the challenge. I'm like, I'm young, I'm single. I have all the energy right now in this season of life to
Yeah.
do both. Otherwise, if I had waited till maybe at a later season of life when time is a bit more spread out, it would have been difficult. And so I came to a place where I was like, this is going to be really hard.
Yeah.
But if I don't do it now, it's never going to get done. And
Okay.
so I have created routines among routines that help me like kind of balance.
Yeah.
It helps that my job is not online most of the time and I actually go to work. So when I get home, I'm pretty good about, hey, work time is over.
Yeah.
This to this time is for treats and more.
Okay.
This to this time is for grounded. Actually had a conversation with one of my business partner in treats and more the other day.
Yeah.
And we were trying to schedule a meeting for this week.
Okay.
And the time slot she was giving,
Yeah.
I've actually dedicated that time to grounded.
Oh.
And I had to be like, no, this is grounded time.
Okay.
This is a time I can allocate for this. And I have to be really strict about those boundaries. Otherwise, I'm going to go insane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Ah, nice. So, while growing up, did you ever imagine you're gonna be a business owner, or were your thoughts mostly on you're gonna finish your degree and get employed and?
It's not something I thought about that much growing up. Obviously, we all had ambitions.
Yeah.
Mine was to become a journalist.
Wow.
Specifically, a newspaper journalist. I
Wow.
was so specific. I don't
Oh.
want to be on TV
Okay.
reading news.
Yeah.
I want to write newspapers.
Oh wow.
And this was like as early as 6, 7 years old. I've always loved to write. And when I think about it right now with digital marketing,
Yeah.
digital marketing wasn't a thing
Yeah.
when we were growing up. So
Yeah.
I would like to think I'm still in that space. It
Okay.
just looks a lot different. But yeah, that was the dream. Transitioning into high school, then we start to get the careers. These are the ones that pay
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And so I started saying that I want to become a lawyer.
Oh wow.
But in hindsight, I was only saying that because I thought it sounded better
Yeah.
than journalism.
Yeah.
Which, right now, I'm like, that is dumb. But yeah, my parents, very entrepreneurial people.
Okay.
I did see them start businesses growing up, different businesses. Some were successful, some were not.
Okay.
And finance was not a topic in my house that was hush, as
Okay.
with many households
Yeah.
where the parents discuss the finances and the kids have nothing to do with it. It wasn't that way in my house. I feel like during every season of life in my family, I knew whether or not there was money.
Oh wow.
Maybe I might not have been able to tell how much money we have,
Okay.
but when there was money, I knew because things would change. Like,
Yeah.
hey, let's go out,
Yeah.
let's get stuff. And when there was no money, you
Yeah.
also knew. And so because of that, money is not a concept that was strange to me.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I think that really shaped my attitude towards business and money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. When you were in high school, what were you doing mostly with your pocket money?
I was buying KDFs.
Okay.
I didn't get a lot of pocket money,
Okay.
obviously. But yeah, I don't remember ever doing anything even remotely meaningful with my
Okay.
money in high school.
Okay.
The only thing I can think of is when we closed school and you had a little bit of money. We used to
Yeah.
live in Githurai at the time.
Okay.
And so there used to be a lot of cheap clothes. And so you buy clothes.
Okay.
I would sometimes not buy the KDS so that
Okay.
I have enough money to buy clothes.
Okay.
But that's as far as
Your-
my financial discipline went, which says
Okay.
a lot.
Okay. And we're into campus. Did you start your business you said you didn't start it when in campus, but then what were you doing with your money? Did you support yourself fully in campus or?
Yeah, first of all, campus was the streets. We can just
Oh
agree.
wow! Which campus
Campus,
did you go
I went
to?
to Maseno
Oh
University,
wow!
which is so far away from home. I was so keen on being at least close, but it took me all the way. But I'm grateful I got to experience
Yeah,
Kisumu
yeah.
and the area, and I made some great friends. So no regrets there. But going into campus, money was, well, it was hard because at the time when I was going to campus, like finances were really, really bad in our home.
Okay.
So just to give a little bit of context,
Yeah.
growing up, my mom is kind of the breadwinner. She had like a really good job in banking and she
Okay.
was very high up in the hierarchy of things. So
Yeah.
she had a really good job
Yeah.
and significantly made a lot more than my dad. And it wasn't a big deal. That's
Yeah.
the kind of household I grew up in. It's cool.
Yeah.
And then she did lose her job when I was finishing primary school.
Okay.
And so things really took a huge turnaround
Oh.
because now the main source of income in the
Yeah.
house,
Yeah.
doesn't have a job. And so you start to see changes.
Yeah.
It's small changes sometimes you don't think about, like, you're like, oh, we used to have peanut butter and jam and blueband. Now we have blueband.
Yeah.
Something is definitely
Yeah.
different. And it got so bad to the point when I was going to high school, there was no money
Oh.
for me to go to school.
Okay.
And luckily, by God's grace, I don't know how,
Yeah.
I ended up applying for a scholarship. And because I had done really well, I got it. So things continued to be a bit tough throughout high school. We were managing, but definitely a lot different than how I grew up.
Yeah.
So going into campus, things were pretty much the same.
Okay.
And advantage here is there's help.
Okay. Yeah.
The only issue was I was 17
Oh,
when I joined campus.
Okay.
So I called in to apply for help. So that first year getting by was
A bit
not
hard.
easy. My parents did well. They always like at least
Yeah.
made sure I had money for food
Okay.
and for basics. But I also, the entrepreneur in me, supported myself in other ways. I started doing hair in campus.
Okay.
And so I'd do my friends' hair and they'd pay me. And that's how I got by.
Okay.
I ended up getting a job in a salon to do dreadlocks. I had dreadlocks in that season of life.
Yeah.
And my friends kind of talked me up and said I was doing really well. And
Yeah.
so I ended up getting a job, a more like, it wasn't quite a job, it was wages. So they paid me per client.
Wednesdays.
Yeah, but that really helped me get through campus because at least I had something.
Okay. How did that affect you? Okay. Did how you how you grew up affect your money habits when in campus and when in high school?
Yeah.
In what ways?
It 100% did. As I had said, in our house, you knew when there was money and when there wasn't because
Yeah.
of how money was
Yeah.
being spent. And I kind of ended up adopting that actually. So it would happen when I had money, I would splurge.
Oh wow.
I would spend all of it. I was like, and I carried on this you only live once
Yeah.
attitude,
Yeah.
e-pesa. There's this phrase we used to use that is actually so toxic now that
Yeah.
I think of it. We used to say, pesa yezi nunua shamba, because it's 500 bob or
Yeah.
it's 1,000 bob.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of my attitude in campus. When I have money, I'm going to spend it. If I don't have, I don't have. And so my money habits were just poor.
Okay.
And I didn't have a lot of money to spend either. So
Okay.
maybe that helped because it's like, it's not like you have this
Yeah.
surplus. You know,
Yeah.
you have money for food and you have money for rent.
Yeah.
If by
Any
God's
chance?
good mercy that you have like 500 bob extra, that's what you use to do your hair or your nails or to
Okay.
buy something extra. But yeah, that was how I
Wow.
managed.
Okay. How did you find your How did you get your first funds to start your businesses?
My businesses, and when I think about it, every business I had, because before Treats and More and Grounded, I started, and I still have it to some extent, a social media management business.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, that is another business that I do. I do have a social media management business, but I'm a service provider.
Okay.
And so because I figured out pretty early on that if I was going to start a business, it needed to be easy on capital
Okay.
because I don't know where to get it, and there wasn't any place to go to find money when you're young, unless you're finding it from your parents, maybe
Yeah.
if they're in a position to help you start a business,
Yeah.
or someone's good graces, because
Yeah.
even banks, they don't give loans to start businesses to young people.
Yeah.
And so I knew whatever I decided to start needed to be, it was going to be more labor intensive than capital intensive.
Okay.
So that for me meant my first business was social media management. There wasn't any initial capital, so to say, money wise, because I had the skill.
Okay.
And you can get skills for free in this time. It's no longer those days where you need a degree to learn something.
Yeah.
Literally just go on YouTube, take a course on Udemy or something, and you learn a skill. So I did have the skill, and I did have a laptop, and that's all I needed to start. And because I started that business that way, that attitude sort of flowed towards my other businesses.
Okay.
So with Grounded, it was like, okay, we see a need
Yeah.
for young people to be in community.
Yeah.
We need to bring the young people together,
Yeah.
basically. So it wasn't, again, that capital intensive. There were costs that we are running our first event.
Yeah.
Business model, and that's kind of what we adopted, and that's just an encouragement to anyone trying to start a business, because I feel like so many people don't start businesses because they don't have the money to start a business, and that's a very real concern for a lot of people. Actually, if you look at it, the majority of people are the ones who don't have money.
Yeah.
There are very few who have access. And so if you're going to let that stop you, as opposed to finding creative ways to work with what you already have, I feel like that's where people should start. Like, what do I have here and now that could get this going? And then if I come across money in the process, then I can plow it back in.
Yeah. It's more of starting small.
Yeah, so that's how I've started my business. I didn't have a million in savings. Have you seen this? The memes going around where babies are like, "Oh, I should have started my money market fund when I got born."
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how the world makes us feel like.
Yeah.
For me to start a business as a 20-something-year-old, and you're telling me I need 3.5 M.
Yeah.
Nitapata wapi? But yeah, my encouragement is start where you are.
Yeah.
The money starts like with Treats and More right now. So, we we don't have to go back into our
Yeah,
pockets. Like it keeps itself moving.
Okay, yeah.
We are not at the point where we are profitable to the
Yeah.
point where I can be like, okay, now I can take a salary for
Yeah.
myself.
But at least it's self-sustaining.
Yeah, but because it's going,
Yeah.
it's going to get there.
Okay.
As opposed to waiting until
Yeah.
you have this amount of money and then you know the other thing is there's no guarantees in business.
Yeah.
You could do everything right. You could have all the knowledge or the resources, everything, and it still doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to wait until things align to start, when things don't work out, then the implication is much more. And then that's the kind of entrepreneur you find they don't get back into the game.
Yeah.
Because as an entrepreneur, you look at the world almost from a place of what can I build? What can
Yeah.
I do next?
Yeah.
And that's why you see entrepreneurs, it's very hard to find an entrepreneur with one business.
Okay.
They have like 10 things going on because
Yeah.
that's how our brains function.
Okay.
And so I usually say start where you are with what you have. If it doesn't work out, go back, re-strategize, look at your blueprints, and then get back in the game.
Okay.
And then through that failure and getting back again, you learn valuable lessons that you
Okay.
wouldn't have Googling your target audience
Yeah.
and so yeah, that's kind of
Guys, nuggets.
Yeah.
Nuggets. I hope you have your notes, your notebook and your pens. Okay. What do you think is the most expensive thing or the most expensive starting point for businesses?
I feel like something that is so underestimated in business is marketing.
Okay.
And I feel like my businesses that have started almost had like an unfair advantage because I have a background in marketing.
Okay.
Because you start a business and you create a product that you love.
Okay.
And then now you have this product that you love. For it to be a business, you have to sell this product to someone who is actually willing to give you their hard-earned money
Okay.
to access this thing. And so you have to market. And I don't feel like enough business owners invest enough time and energy into learning how to market. Because the other thing is, again, going back to starting a business with limited resources.
Yeah.
You can just go out in the beginning of a business and hire a marketer.
Yeah.
And so it's like you need to learn ways to market yourself. You need to learn
What
how.
are some of those? I was to get there. What are some of the ways you can market yourself?
One of the most powerful ways, and this one is, it surpasses time, is word of mouth.
Okay.
First of all, let's start here. You create a good product.
Okay.
Because there's a saying in business, marketing can save a bad product.
Okay.
If your product is bad, it doesn't matter how much time, money, and energy you put into marketing.
Okay.
It's going to be a waste of time. So you start there.
Okay.
You've created a good product. Now, sell that product to people who are already in your circles.
Okay.
We do want to reach the masses,
Yeah.
and that is great, but you can start there.
Yeah.
Right now, there are already people in your circles. You have friends,
Yeah.
you have family,
Yeah.
you have neighbors.
Yeah.
And I feel like what stops a lot of business owners from making use of those people in their circles is, there's sort of like a fear.
Yeah.
It's almost like easier to sell from someone you just to sell to someone you just met on the streets, because these people are seeing you in almost like the ugly stages of your business. And so
Yeah.
you don't want to look bad.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the podcast, if
Yeah.
I told you like, oh, so many people in Rwanda are watching your podcast, it's like, yay, yay, yay.
Yeah.
But then if I told you that your family and friends are in a room somewhere and there's a big screen and they're
Yeah.
watching your products, there's this.
Yeah.
And so because of that fear, we don't take enough advantage of people who are already in our circle. So you start
Okay.
there. And if the product is good, guess what? They're going to tell their friends and they're going
Yeah.
to tell everyone.
Yeah.
The other thing is social media. It is free,
Yeah. Yeah.
literally. You just need to start creating quality content about your product, and it won't always take off like that.
Yeah.
Because again, you have a new business that you're comparing to creators who have been in the game for 30 years.
Yeah.
When you look at some of these creators, the sheer amount of money they're putting into towards content creation, they have a whole team.
Yeah.
So you're comparing what that whole team is doing
Yeah.
to your little reel that you made on Canva, Kwanza on the free version of Canva.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can do that. Like, you have to start somewhere in your capacity. Maybe it's just you doing it. What is that you're able to do?
Yeah.
Grab your smartphone,
Yeah.
take a good picture. Even if you don't have a whole marketing team, your content doesn't have to be pathetic.
Yeah.
Because the other thing I've seen, and this is now the digital marketer coming out.
Yeah.
You know that social media is helpful. So what are you going to do? You're going to take your phone and take a couple of pictures, but you don't pay attention to what you're taking, and so it's fuzzy. You didn't look for the best light for this thing,
Yeah.
and so it's like you don't even stand a chance. So
Yeah.
give your content an opportunity to at least have some life.
Okay.
It's okay if you're not super photogenic. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you just need to watch a couple of videos on YouTube that
Yeah.
will tell you, like, this is actually the best angle for your smartphone.
Okay.
You don't have to be top level film producer.
Yeah.
But yes, start where you are, but put some effort. So social media is also a really, really good free tool. Especially TikTok is really good if you're able to do videos. Instagram is amazing. I personally love photos, so Instagram is where our businesses are heavy on. And yeah, start from there and then you'll grow as time goes on.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This is kind of a masterclass.
Loki, maybe. Guys, come to my masterclass.
Okay. What keeps you going? What keeps your business going? I mean, are there times when you feel like, oh, I think this is it. Let me just slow down and close. Are there times when you feel like, yeah, there are those days when you feel like, wow, you have the energy, and there are those days you feel like, let it be. What keeps you going? You wake up and think of grounded, treating more, and your employment is there.
Yeah, those days are there, and almost in every week there's a day I have super energy and I'm charged and I'm getting things done. And there are days I'm like, is this even worth it? What is this even? What keeps me going is, for me, like, this desire to create and to make something exist in the world that I know is good, it's helpful to people. Like, every time I get, maybe because with our meal plan business for Treats and More, sometimes people don't even clock that they have food in their fridge. And so it's those days someone will get home and they'll be like, oh, I had ordered.
Yeah.
And they'll take a picture and they'll send me and they'll be like, oh my God, this is so convenient. This is so good. And so seeing that something I've created is actually helping people really keeps me going. And the other thing is, I look at just so many girls in the world, and I'm like, we were having a conversation just now about how much, especially as women, there's so much self-doubt when it comes to business and career. And I usually think about, like, someone looking at me and seeing me running these businesses that started with literally no money and actually doing it. And I'm like, yeah, this could be inspiring to someone. And so that keeps me going. I think about, you know, how sometimes you'll meet an older woman in their 40s and you'll be like, oh, she's doing so well. And I think about myself being 40 or 50 and meeting, like, a 25-year-old who's in the grind and trying to start a business and being like, hey, do you know what? I was there. And I pushed through, and that's why I'm here right now. And so thinking about that, like, really keeps me going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What is that one thing you wish you knew about money before starting your businesses? Or, yeah, before starting your businesses?
What I wish I knew about money in general is it's not as complex as people make it out to be.
Wow.
Yeah, because I feel like the money world and finance, like there's so much jargon and so many
Yeah.
big words
Yeah.
and spreadsheets and graphs. And so looking outside, from the outside looking in, it's very easy to think, oh, this is so complicated. This is not for me.
Yeah.
But then when you really start to learn, I've committed to financial literacy and been like, I'm going to learn these things, things
Yeah.
that intimidate me, like government bonds and how they're
Yeah.
working. But when I started to learn, I realized it's actually not that.
Yeah.
When
it's
you
not
get
that-
beyond the hard words,
Yeah.
it's actually not that bad. And I have a theory that might be a conspiracy theory. I don't
Okay.
know. I feel like in the past, it's almost being made to look that complex, so that it's only this information and this knowledge is only accessible to a few.
Yeah.
And sadly, that's how the world works.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's an insane income distribution gap
Yeah.
in the world, and I feel like part of what has served that is keeping financial knowledge and literacy to only a few, and part of how that happens is through all these big words.
Okay.
When you actually start to learn, get so empowered,
Yeah.
and you realize actually it's not that difficult to know money. It's not that difficult to make money. And when you make the first bit 200 shillings, then you just want to make more. And so I wish I knew that money is not as intimidating
As it
as,
sounds.
as it sounds.
Yeah.
And it's also, once you start to make it, makes your life so much easier. So why not invest the time to just learn?
Yeah. Okay, talking of government bills and bonds and papers and water, is there something you've recently invested in?
I haven't.
Okay.
It's just something I've been learning about. The most interesting part is the first time someone talked to me about government bonds and stuff, it
Yeah.
was on a date.
Ooh.
And so this was actually maybe just a bad conversationalist, because those are not topics you bring out. But I happened to go out with someone in finance, and they
Oh.
started talking about it, and I was like, actually didn't know this is something that you can do.
Yeah.
And so after that, I started learning more and more. In this season of my life, a lot of investment I'm making is towards my businesses.
Okay.
And I do hope to, explore more of,
Okay.
investment opportunities with government bonds and with
Yeah.
companies and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not something that's a priority right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you separate your finances, business finances? I mean, you have two businesses. You have employment and you have your own personal needs. How do you make sure that you don't use business money to fund your lifestyle? Or are there incidences? Now that you're laughing, are there some incidences when you have used business money and now you have to?
Luckily, I know myself.
Okay.
And I feel like one of the mistakes we make with money, we overestimate ourselves and our willpower and our financial discipline.
Okay.
So I decided that I'm going to think myself as the worst person when it comes to financial discipline. And so I'm going to set up systems
Okay.
where there is no chance I would even be tempted to use that money.
Okay.
And so from the onset, with both grounded and streets and more, money has been kept separate. We have separate accounts for everything.
Wow.
To the point that, like today when I leave here, I'm going to go shopping for treats and more.
Yeah.
Me and my business partner have this system where I can't use my money and then treats and more is
Okay.
going to reimburse me. No.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Money for the business has to come from the business.
Okay.
Money from a client has to go through directly to the business. It can't go through me.
Wow.
And so knowing that I may not have the willpower to resist.
Okay.
What we have done is we've set up systems where you're not even it's not an option. Money is
Okay.
separate, and that has really helped just keep things healthy. Yeah.
Okay. Not talking of that, do you have like a personal budget or something where you organize your money and make sure now that you're employed, but at the end of the month, you like structure your money in a way? Or do you have that financial discipline to know this is what I need to do with this?
Yeah, I have a spreadsheet that I use
Oh
for my
wow.
personal
Wow.
finance. And I know that sounds, oh my
Wow.
God, it's so
Yeah.
elaborate, but if you saw it, it's really not. And this came from at some point last year. You know, money is one of those things. Sometimes you have so much of it, sometimes you have so
Yeah.
little. And so at some point last year, I had so much money.
Okay.
And I was like, if I don't, actually plan out this money, I'm just going to squander it, and I'm going to look back on it. It's going to end, but I would wish this money by the time in Aisha, I know I did this and this.
Yeah.
So I was like, the only way this is going to happen is if I actually track my finances. And so I started this practice and it's a very simple template. So I have all my income. So it's like, this is my income, this is what is coming from my salary, this is what is coming from my businesses, if there's a side hustle, so all your income in one place. And then I have my expenses, which I split. I got this formula from some chick on YouTube. I wish I remembered her name to actually shout her out, but the formula is fundamentals, fun, and future me. And so you have a column of your expenses where you put your fundamentals, like your rent, your transport, your Wi-Fi, whatever is an essential to have. And then there's a fun column because girls gotta have fun. And these are expenses like you went out with your friends, things like your Netflix and Spotify, because I've noticed that's something people don't think about as expenses. And they're recurring month to month. So all of those things, you bought new shoes, you put all that in there. And you have your future me, which is where you put your savings. For me, right now, that's basically it. My savings are in that category. And you still do the finance model. Our taught was 50, 30, 20. And so it's 50% of my income is going towards these fundamentals. No, actually 20% is what I use for fun, and 30% is what I save. I was taught it that, but I decided like my fun items are not actually that expensive, because it also goes back to your idea of fun. I think that's something we need to set people free with money. If your idea of fun is traveling and mine is sitting at home and watching a movie, that's okay. We're just going, our finances are just going to look a lot different, and that's okay. And so follow all the financial advice, not follow the financial advice you're given from all these pieces, but also tailor it to yourself and to your lifestyle. And so that's kind of how I track my expenses. And sometimes, I'm not doing great. But the advantage with having it laid down that way is I can see it. I can see that in May, I 0% of my income went to future me because I did not save, and I spent so much money on this and this. And because I can see where I failed, I'm able to make adjustments quickly, as opposed to you have this rough idea and you think you know your money until you have it laid out. And then by the time, if you're not actually tracking your income and your expenses, by the time you realize you're actually doing really badly, you're in this hole. Maybe you have debt that you're not tracking. And so because it's not there, we are not that attentive as a species. And so because it's not there, you're not seeing the red, mine is red for debt. If I'm not seeing the red, then I forget about it. But if I can go to that spreadsheet quickly and see, actually, I'm in the red here, then I can decide, I would really, really love to go out on this date and this date, but I actually can't afford to do it. And that's another thing with money.
Yeah.
Being able to say, like, you know what, I can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
And it's nothing on you or
Yeah.
doesn't make you less of a person. And also communicating that to your friends.
Yeah.
Because I feel like something else that tracking my finances has really set me free to do is being able to tell people I cannot afford that.
Okay.
And that's okay. And good friends get it. A good friend, if they really want you there, can be like, oh, Amma, like, I can cover you because I know your finances are tight this
Yeah.
month. And then maybe the next time we go out, you're going to take care of things because your finances will be in a better place. A friend who will kind of shame you or make you feel less than because you've said that you cannot afford something, that's not a friend.
Yeah, it's
And
really
so
not a friend.
yeah, it also training people in your circles. By the way, at the point that I'm telling you I can't go to this event because of X, Y, and Z, I have actually seen and I've looked at my books.
Yeah.
It's not I'm refusing to go. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that little spreadsheet has been a
A
lifesaver.
game changer.
Yeah.
When did you start using it?
I would say September
Oh,
last
last
year.
year.
Before that, everything was kind of everywhere. And I'd say September is when that season, no, like maybe beginning of that year, last year, is the first time in my life when I had disposable income.
Okay.
So I had been making money, but after my rent and my food and essential bills, I didn't have any money. So there's nothing actually to plan for because nothing is left. But when I started having some disposable income, I was like, okay, if I have extra, I might as well make sure it's working for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking of friends, I know there's most people or some of the people who are not really able to like speak up about money and all, and they end up into debts, Tala, Fuliza, everything about debts. How would you like help that person? I mean, money talks is not that easy. It needs a lot of confidence to say that this time, guys, I'm not gonna, especially when you have been doing it and maybe you've even been supporting friends and all and all. What is that one advice you can give to them? I mean, to try and okay, what could be the next step you could have taken to get you into a space where you're just now okay and very confident in telling your friends? I mean, that's it.
I think with that, your beliefs on money are key.
Okay.
Because how we act in such situations shows us what we believe about money
Okay.
and what we believe about ourselves.
Okay.
It's possible to view money as a resource
Okay.
and not attach your identity to it, which is where issues come from. The reason I cannot tell my friends that I'm not able to afford this is because my worth and my value as a person is directly connected to how much money I have.
Okay.
And so me saying that I don't have the money makes me feel less than.
Yeah.
And so your beliefs on money are key. We need to detach who we are from the money that we have. Money is a good tool. It helps us live good lives, go out with our friends. We love it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if it's directly connected to inherently who you are, it affects so many things. And so detach who you are and your worth as a person from that dollar amount, that shilling amount in your bank account. That way you can know that when I am able to be the one taking the tab when we are going out, and when I cannot go out at all, I'm still worthy and I'm still valuable and I'm still loved within. It's also healthy community. You need to surround yourself with people who it doesn't matter so much to them how much money you do or you don't have. Make the money, yes, but also, it's so important to put money in its place. Let me put it as something that's important, but not the end all be all. Because when we put it at a higher place than it ought to be, then it messes us up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually remember a question we were kind of discussing about it, that if your friends knew how much you earn, would they perceive you the same way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's a question guys should try and ask yourselves. If your friends knew how much you earn and the lifestyle that you live, will they perceive you the same way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a question on our grounded
Yeah.
conversation card. So
Yeah.
you should probably
How
maybe a
much
next
is it
step.
and where can we get them from actually?
So so they go for 2,000 bob only,
Okay, yeah.
and it's basically a card with 100 questions
Okay.
that gets conversation going,
Yeah.
and they actually divided into, it's not that deep, it's deep, and it's that deep. So you don't have to go deep maybe with your colleagues if
Yeah.
you're using the cards with your
Yeah.
colleagues. So there's that comfort.
Yeah.
So you can DM us on Instagram at groundedke, and we'll get you the cards. Or you can also contact us at groundedkenya@gmail.com. But yeah, it's just good to have these conversations also, because they take the shame out of
Yeah.
the not having money.
Yeah.
So that's a good next step. Go get the cards.
Yeah. Okay. What did you study in campus?
Criminology with IT.
Wow. What landed you there?
Good question. So back to the lawyer conversation. I wanted to
Okay.
become a lawyer, and then my cluster points are a
Okay.
nightmare.
Yeah.
I didn't get into any law school that I applied to,
Okay.
or any course that allows me to go to ASL.
Okay.
So I was like, re-strategizing. And so when I was there at the cyber, you pay per minute.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been here for an hour. This time is ticking. I need to decide. Because they didn't have a backup plan.
Okay.
Know how you want to do this, but if this doesn't work out, you want to do that.
Yeah.
There's also not a lot of career guidance in this country.
Yeah.
So in that moment, looking at my minutes on the cyber, I was like, criminology sounds like it might be closer
Yeah.
to law. This wasn't a researched decision. It was just in the moment thing.
Okay.
And I applied as my last choice, actually, because it was 1, 2, 3, and then I was looking for one to Jazza so that I can get out of there.
Yeah.
And I was like, surely they're not going to call me to do this thing.
But surely they did.
And then
call
I
you.
opened my portal and I was like, okay. And then there's an option for changing, but I like to live life and try things. So that part of me was like, what if it is good? So I ended up studying it. I didn't hate it.
Okay.
I didn't love it either.
Okay.
So it's a good course. Maybe it wasn't exactly my life's path, but it makes for a good story.
Okay. If you're given some good career guidance, what do you think you would have chosen?
I think I would have stuck to the more journalist, marketing, something in the media space, which is where I find myself in, nowadays, even with these businesses. So God, in His way, found a way to just bring me back. So I'm lucky in that way. I know there are people who end up on career paths that they just despise, and that hasn't been my story. So I'm at least grateful, even though I diverted for a while. Things align, and everything I do in this season is something that energizes me and gives me life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking of, you have like a personal budget and all, if I remember very well. What happens when there is fluctuation of cash flow? How do you manage that? Maybe, okay, for salary, maybe it's fixed, but then for the other businesses.
Yeah, that has been a real thing for me this year because I changed jobs.
Okay.
And in that season of transition, I was actually out of work for 3 months.
Wow.
So, it's back to my spreadsheet and being like, the expenses are still there, they're fixed, but my income wasn't even enough
Okay.
to cater for my expenses, because now I had a salary and now I don't have a salary. And so thankfully there are people around me who came alongside me, and I was able to get through that season. But I think the temptation in such difficult seasons when things have fluctuated is to be like, okay, this is not important anymore. Now that I'm not really bringing in money, it's no longer important to track my finances.
Yeah.
But then I would caution against that, because these seasons come and go.
Yeah.
It is not the first or the last time, probably, in my, if I have a long life, that there's going to be fluctuation of income. And so what that taught me is, one, the need for an emergency fund. I had known about emergency funds because I've been in a season of learning, but it's not until you're in such a season you're like, oh, this is why they were telling us we should have an emergency fund where you have 6 months worth of your expenses saved up. And so for me, it became less theoretical and it became more practical. It's like now I see it. Now, with being back in a job and having a salary and my income sort of, it went back to normal. Like, I'm not making significantly more than I was.
Yeah.
So it's still kind of the same vibe. But while in that, before I was like, okay, that's not important. Now I'm like, I see the need for this.
Yeah.
And so I'd say if you keep going with tracking your finances and being diligent in that during the fluctuations, it helps you get better at doing your finances. And so many lessons learned for me in that season.
Okay. You said you received some help during that season, the 3-month season.
Yeah.
Was it from your parents or from your friends or?
It was both my
Okay.
parents and my friends. And it was, I don't have.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? And thankfully, I'm just so supported. And
Okay.
I know that's not the case for
Everyone,
everyone, and it can be tough. That's why we need to have some of these financial conversations.
Yeah.
If I had had an emergency fund, I wouldn't even have had to go to my friends or my family. And that's difficult for a lot of people, especially someone like me I am hyper independent. I'm a firstborn. I'm like, I got this. I don't need help.
Yeah.
It is very difficult to go and ask for help. Predict. But the world of business is so unpredictable. So how do you protect yourself and you make sure if worst case scenario comes, I'm still able to live? And as I say, the bouncing back thing, if you're okay and you have somewhere to live and your bills are paid and you have food. If you are an entrepreneur, you'll be able to build back up again. But if you have nothing, then it incapacitates you. And so it's very important.
Okay. You said you're a firstborn, a very hyper independent body.
Yes. Actually, yesterday, one of my colleagues asked me a weird question. I've only been there for a month and a half, but that's enough to interact with someone. And so they asked me, Faith, would you would you ever submit to a man?
Whoa.
And I was like, why would you ask me that? Have you noticed that I'm and we are not going there. But yeah, I am firstborn and I've learned to be self-sustaining for the most part.
Okay. Do you have like, do you engage in some black tax kind of a thingy? And how do you keep the boundaries and all?
Okay, so my story is quite different from a lot of people. I know that. And I've seen a lot of transition between millennials, I would say, and Gen Z, where having conversations with millennials is where a lot of the black tax conversation
Yeah.
comes in, because it's almost like an obligation to
Yeah.
take care of your parents. And you should be able to do that, but from a place of, I actually have capacity. But black tax, as we know it, it's tax.
Yeah.
No one is asking you.
Yeah.
It's kind of something you have to do. And so I found myself, when I first started working, surrounded by many millennials
Okay.
who are really going through the black tax thing. And it's like, I've been doing this for 15 years.
Wow.
Or for 10 years. How do I go to my parents and be like, right now things are tough, I can't do it? And so it's almost like you're stuck
Yeah.
doing it. And so having such conversation awakened me to the reality of black tax, to the point where when there were instances during my life when I felt like it was headed there, I was able to be like, okay, if I start this trend now, then I'm doomed. So as I said, coming from a not so well off background in this sense, like there are moments when you need to chip in.
Yeah.
There are moments when there's an emergency and I need to send something small, but it's never been no, like I'm taking care of my parents to the point that I can't even care for my own needs. Sometimes I will send my dad like a 2K or 3K. It's no big deal, but it's not
Out of kind of pressure. It's
not,
out of your will.
it's never out of pressure. It's never like I'm denying my very essential needs so that I can do that. So I've been lucky in that way. And my parents right now are both working. So that helps. And so I wouldn't want to compare my situation to someone else's who's maybe parents are not working and they have younger siblings to be taken care of. So for me, I wouldn't say I have really, really dealt with black tax. There was a season when things were a bit tough and I felt a lot of pressure. But it's also in the small conversations. Like, my mom didn't mind this. We had a conversation the other day because my brother's birthday is coming up.
Okay.
And she asked me, unafanya nini brother yako? I was like, namfanyia birthday kama nani. And it wasn't from a place of I'm being rude. We have a very casual relationship, me and my mom. It was more from a place, you are the parent. You do the birthday. If I'm coming, I'm going to come as a guest.
Yeah.
But it's in those small things.
Yeah.
This one time you're throwing a birthday party, the next time you're paying school fees.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it happens just like that, but it's in the small things.
Yeah.
And the alternative was like, hey, I'm going to bring a cake.
Okay.
So it's not like I'm saying I'm not participating in my brother's birthday, but I'm also communicating that it's not my responsibility to throw my brother a birthday. And so, that doesn't dishonor my parents. It just communicates a boundary, and that's important now. And even important more so as I start to have my own family. Because sometimes, maybe in this season, I can be like, I have so much income, I can do that. But what happens when I have 3 kids in school who need school fees? And so it's in the small things. And just to set anyone free who's having those conversations within themselves and battling, you can honor and love your parents and not kill yourself to make sure they're happy. It's possible.
Okay. Guys, you've heard you can honor your parents without killing yourself or draining yourself. Yeah. Okay. So, is the what? How do you handle pressure in business or maybe personally? Do you take a vacation? Do you
Yeah.
pray? Do you go to church? Do you vent? How do you handle pressure?
Venting for sure.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
a professional venter. I happen to have, and this is the heart behind grounded, very
Okay.
close relationships with people.
Okay.
I have an inner circle of friends who I'm always making aware of things that are going through
Okay.
me, things I'm going through.
Okay.
And so that helps. But also, when I feel like there's turmoil in any area of my life, I'm the kind of person who likes to step back and be like, because something I've noticed is we get so caught up in the day to day
Okay.
that we forget there's a larger scale of things. For me, I can get caught up in the rhythm of going to work, coming back from work, doing a little bit of grounded work or a little bit of shits and more work, and then sleeping and then waking up. And so it helps me to zoom out and be like, okay, hold up. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I in this job? Why am I cooking food for people in my kitchen?
Yeah.
Why am I holding events? And so that grounds me, pun intended. It grounds me and helps me like get back to the why. Because for me, the why is so important.
Okay.
Whether that's for my job, my businesses, anything I choose to give my time to, including being here today. I'm like, the why is strong enough for me to be like, I need to be there. Otherwise, it's just, you get so exhausted. And I learned that lesson the hard way because I got super burnt out.
Okay.
Anyone who knows me can tell you I'm a super passionate person. I bring so much passion and so much energy into everything, into anything I do. And that's just me. I'm the going above and beyond person.
Yeah.
I'm the person who my CV is graphically designed and there's a picture of me on my CV.
Yeah.
And I'm the kind of person who has a website, a personal website, just
Oh,
because
wow.
it's fun.
Wow.
And I'm extra. I'm the kind of person, if you come to my place and I make a meal for you, I'm a garnish it and make you feel like you're in a 5-star restaurant. And that's just who I am.
Yeah.
And that quickly began to fizzle.
Okay.
I was doing things to get things done.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that's what burnout looks like. I was normally typically very patient even when people are being difficult. But I was out here snapping at people and then I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I realized I was actually burnt out.
Okay.
And it's because I wasn't taking time to zoom out
Okay.
and think about why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And because I wasn't doing that, I piled on so much onto my plate.
Okay.
Even things that I don't consider that meaningful, I was still doing. And so what happened when I zoomed out and looked at my life from almost like remove myself from that situation and look at it from the outside looking in. And then I begin to see, okay, I'm doing these 10 things, but actually out of the 10, only 4 hold any kind of meaning for me.
Yeah.
And so what am I going to do with the rest of this? Get rid.
Okay.
And sometimes that comes with strained relationships
Yeah.
because you had committed to this thing, now you're not doing it, and someone is angry. But don't sell your soul to make people around you happy. You don't have to be doing everything. Just zoom out, look at the things that are important, and focus on those. Because my mom says, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing well.
Okay.
If you're doing 10 different things, even if you are superwoman, whatever superhero you want to insert there, it's very difficult to give all of that excellence.
Okay.
And so what helps me is it's almost like recalculating and being like, okay. And sometimes how it works out is something that was super meaningful and important and fulfilling and gave you so much life in one season. In the next season, it no longer does, and that's okay. Shift with the seasons.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Guys, masterclass. Pay for this masterclass. Okay, now you said you're on a journey of getting to be financially literate, what is so far the best money advice you've received, either from someone or from a research you've done?
I think one of the best financial concepts that I've adopted is, and I say this like, money is not hard to make.
Okay. Yeah.
Because when you start there, then even with business, you start to see opportunities.
Yeah.
You start to see things happening. You start to identify, like me and Joanne. Joanne is my best friend. I love her. We were talking today.
Shout out to Joanne.
Yeah. And she was talking to me about her new job and, how much they're doing in sales. And I found myself asking her, so what are the profit margins?
Okay.
And it's like, when people talk about their jobs, they don't talk about profit margins. That's not a typical thing. But because I've started a business and really demystified money, then I see things so differently.
Okay.
I know sales don't matter.
Yeah.
You might be making 500 million in sales, but if your profit is 400 and maybe 10 million out of the 200 million, you don't have a business.
Yeah.
And so the best financial concept I've adopted that has changed everything is money is not hard. It's not hard to make. It's not hard to understand. Information is there. Kwanzaa, we are living in the best age ever.
Yeah.
Because there was a time when money conversations only happened behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have access to those doors, this quote people say like, have friends who will speak your name in a room full of bullshit. Right now, the door to the room is open.
Yeah.
It's wide open for everyone to access it. If you want to learn anything, there are many YouTubers, many podcasts like this one, giving information to people for free. And so we are living in the best time ever. Our parents couldn't have said that because you needed to climb the corporate ladder to some extent to even have access, but we are so privileged and so make use of the resources that we've been given.
Okay, where do you see the grounded? Actually, guys, grounded. I'll advocate for grounded. She hasn't paid me yet to advertise, but then, guys, how do you stay grounded actually in this journey?
I take the pressure off of myself to stay grounded and instead surround myself with people who keep me grounded.
Oh, wow. Grounded.
Because sometimes it's like I want to stay grounded and I want to stay on track with my values. But life is so busy sometimes we are not able to do that. But if you have people around you who know you, there's this quote we love at Grounded that says, if you're 99% known, you are unknown.
Wow.
Because there's also that 1% that is significant. And so it's people who know you, your beauty, your ugliness, your weaknesses, your strength, your values. And so sometimes life is so busy that I'm not able to zoom out. But in those moments, someone who can be like, hey, I know you're considering these opportunities, but it really doesn't align with your values. And so the pressure to keep ourselves grounded, and especially nowadays, like all the advice we are given is almost another thing on your to-do list. Like after this podcast, someone is like, oh, I should get a spreadsheet for my money. And then it's like, oh, you should go to therapy. Oh, while you're at it, you should go to the gym. And then while you're at the gym, please look at your diet and make sure you're not taking this and this. And then after that, you need to deal with your generational trauma. And then there's always something and there's so much pressure and you can't do it alone. So sometimes it helps to be surrounded by people who will keep you grounded in those moments. So my community has been such a game changer for me. And like we want to see more people just have access to that, because life is so much easier when you're not doing everything on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you see Treats and More in the next 5 years?
Treats and more. I see a Kenya where people are more open to meal plan and that
Okay.
kind of service. Because Treats and More being a plan business and we deliver meals once a week, it's a fairly new concept.
Yeah.
And so, one, I hope that it's a concept that more people adopt. I am very big on healthy eating.
Okay.
And that also comes from a place of no one taught us
Yeah.
like how to eat well.
Yeah.
And so I found myself out of high school being 5'2" and 78 kgs. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And then it's like things like food, because back to me spending all my pocket money on KDS.
Yeah.
It circles back.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, that is so important. And so helping people see the heart behind it and adopting that more and being like, I see it growing. I see us delivering to many neighborhoods in Nairobi, because this is where we are.
Okay.
And potentially going and expanding to other cities in the country, because that's where our target audience is young, professional Kenyans, and that's where they are. And so, yeah, my dream is to one day, as I'm passing by a weird building in Nairobi, seeing someone making a Treats and More delivery. And it doesn't have to be someone I know, because at this point, the team is so big.
Yeah.
But that's the dream I have. And we are chipping at it slowly. Yeah, and it's so freeing. I would challenge you to anyone watching this actually. If there's a business, anything you admire, please just take time to go and look at the backstory and see where people started. Because sometimes you see a business like Uber, which is global, but when you go back to the roots, it was a cab. It started with one cab, and someone had an idea to, bring in software into this thing. And now it's the global phenomenon that it is. And so sometimes when we are dreaming, it's easy to be like, oh, God, no. But to realize that the businesses, the enterprises, the people you admire so much also started from really low places, it helps you and gives you the freedom to dream, because you're like, if they can do that, well, I can achieve what I'm dreaming of. And so, yeah.
Okay. Guys, support local Treats and More. You have a website where people can order or something?
Yeah, we have an order form with a rotating menu. The link, you can find it at Treats and More KE on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We're big on social media. And so when you're on our social media pages, you get access to the order form. We have a rotating menu. So every week we are changing up meals. And so it helps to be flexible. And so once you go to any of our pages, you'll see what's available this week. And maybe on Monday, and they all do it confidently. But a lot of women, even while they are qualified for those
Yeah.
jobs and those opportunities, are still like, no. And so we see that even though we've come so far as a society, there's still like more mental blocks that are there, even with business.
Yeah.
And so it's like you go to a business event and then you just realize there are so many men here.
Yeah.
And I know so many women in business, so why are not here?
Yeah.
Are they not here? Networking events. Earlier this year, I went to a women's conference, and this one was exclusively for women.
Okay.
And I was so overwhelmed because I'm like, typically when I go for business things, like there's so many guys. And it's also in things like tech. There's so many opportunities in tech, but we see more guys pursuing those opportunities because sometimes tech is seen as
Men's.
yeah, but then we have women coming up like
Yeah.
Fian in tech, and she's so vocal in this industry. And so the advice I would give is, first of all, we all need to identify those biases we have that are not upfront. You know, like sometimes it's very, you don't even realize you're doing it. Let me give an example. When you're in church, and there's an issue with sound maybe, or you are at an event with issue with sound, you'll probably turn to the next guy
Yeah.
next to you. He might not even be the tech lead,
Yeah.
but in your head you're like, oh, this one is going to help me, because we all have like mental biases we don't even realize we have.
Yeah.
And so it's first of all to identify your own, and as a woman, see how they're holding you back.
Okay.
And you have to get so real with yourself about like, this is where I want to go. I have identified these mindsets and mental blocks that are holding me back. Am I going to allow it? Because you are in control. You can choose differently. You can surround yourself with people who affirm you towards getting rid of those biases. But when you choose to sit in it and wish yourself, it's one of the best advices in general I have ever received, and this was a tough pill to swallow. Someone said to me, Faith, no one is coming to save you. So I know you're here sulking and being like, oh, but Aki, I don't understand my finances. Aki, but when you realize no one is coming to save you, you take agency over your own life. And I feel like that's a huge thing for both men and women, but especially for women, because once you get over those things that are holding you back and discover how much power you have and how much you're able to do things, you're almost like unstoppable, because you're like, oh, I can do that. Then you just keep going from there. Yeah.
Okay, talking of submission. Let's get back to submission. If your husband, your future husband, was able to provide for you fully and comfortably, and he requests you to leave everything else and cleave only unto him, you don't have to answer.
Yeah. I'm happy to answer that question, because it's come up a couple of times.
Yeah.
It all goes back to my why. If I usually say, if I was born into like a super rich family where I had a trust fund, I'd probably still be a business owner.
Wow.
Because the kind of energy I get from like creating things and doing things, that cannot be replaced.
Okay.
And if I was doing it purely for the money, I wouldn't even be in it right now, because these businesses are not to the point where, you know. And so because my why is so powerful and my reasons for doing what I do are so powerful, me not creating, not working, not being in business and getting things done would be me suppressing a part of who I am.
Okay.
And that would be super difficult for me. And I feel like someone who's genuinely for you is interested in the things that bring you joy. That said, that is not for everyone. Everyone is different.
Yeah.
And I feel like there are also seasons of life where that call for that. For instance, I
Yeah.
am very big on if I have children, I say if, because sometimes we talk about it as if it's a rite of passage
Yeah.
that everyone has to.
Yeah.
But if I have them, I would want to spend a lot more time at home
Okay.
with my kids than
Okay.
maybe what I'm doing while I'm working and grinding.
Okay.
So that's a different stage of life. And that might mean because I'm not in the grind, I'm not bringing in as much money as I can. And marriage being a partnership,
Yeah.
it makes sense
Okay.
for your partner to step in and
Yeah.
hold things together. And so I don't advocate for one way of seeing things.
Okay.
But ultimately for me, regardless of where I find myself or who I find myself with, it's very important that I keep doing the things that bring me joy.
Okay. Okay. I guess that's it for today, guys. What is your final word? Look at your camera. Speak to my audience.
I think my final word is all of us, regardless of who you are or where you find yourself. Today, we are interacting with money and finance to some capacity. So, letting go of the limiting beliefs we have around this stuff, like, just makes the quality of our life so much better. And as I said, like, it is a resource and it's a tool that makes money, that makes life better, and we're able to experience this. And so, format your beliefs. I know there are things we've grown up thinking and being around. Sometimes when you're born into a poor family, then you have this scarcity mindset that there's never money. But like, take time to actually assess your beliefs around money, around finance, and grow. That's why we're all here. We are all trying to grow. So as long as you're on a growth trajectory, whatever that looks like for you, you're doing good.
Okay, guys, that's it for today. I've been your host, Mercy Dube. Subscribe down there. Listen in. More to come. See you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.